Hey guys, your Bear Boy host Hito here without my camera on because, well, I don't know how to set up this new bear technology that we've gotten. But you know what? We're here. There we go. We're good. We're good. We're fine. We're fantastic. Hold on. I'm not the bear though right now. Give me a minute. Now I'm the bear right now. We're doing this. Hey yo, hey yo, hey Miss Mango. How's it going? All right, so let's do this, shall we? We're talking about. I'm your Bear Boy host Hito here. We're back with the Retrogade, here to drop the retro bomb for you. Today's topic is cheats, mods, and hacks. So we're gonna talk Konami codes and big head cheats and all of that jazz. And with one of our first guests, we have Alex from Pixel Noise FM.
Pixel noise.
Pew 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 pew. Oh hey, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? So, who are you? What are you? What are you doing here? And how's it going? I'm just messing with you.
Oh, I was about to talk for an hour. I'm glad you cut me off.
So, plug yourself, man. How's it going?
Subscribe and do the thing.
Oh, me, it's going great. I come from the land of Pixel Noise FM on Twitch and podcasts and other things probably with friends of mine because we enjoy making content, I guess. But no, that's no. I like talking. I like having opinions and then forcing those opinions on people. That's generally my MO. So
Yes,
I was excited to be here.
yes, exactly. That's what opinions are for. That's what they're there for. If you don't
Yeah,
have opinions,
totally.
how are you
Totally,
gonna force
totally.
them on people?
Right? How else will people hear all my smart big brain
Just
things
because I
if
called you
don't
a
just
pedantic
shove it down
asshole
their
does
throats
not
all the
mean
time?
that I'm a judgmental shit, okay?
Well,
Hey,
someone's
just
gotta
judgmental shit.
be. And if I'm the gigantic asshole, then you get the pedantic shit, all right?
Why can't Paradigm
Oh
be
my
the pedantic shit?
Paradigm's busy ordering me chicken sandwiches.
He-
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And then finally, we have our next guest, the
Throwback.
one, the only heartthrob of the season,
Oh,
Symmetric
baby.
Heart.
hey, I don't know
Yeah.
about How you doing?
So, Symmetric Heart, pulse us in with your plugin, shall ya?
Sure. So, I'm nobody, and I come from nowhere. No, I know
Hey, I have that
of the
written on my-
people here through. Oh my god, I know people here through Pixel Noise and Miss Mango. So I spend a lot of time with them. I stream on twitch.tv/Symmetric Heart. Tony, also of Pixel Noise FM, and I have a music podcast, so not a video game podcast, but a music podcast, and it's very good. And yeah, I do a lot of rando, which is generally speaking the reason why I'm here.
Yeah, I'm doing currently a Legend of Zelda rando myself, and I'm crying about it today.
Oh no.
I get to cry about it because oh my god, is it very mean? Yes, absolutely. What does it do to me? It does plenty of things to me. That's the answer. That's the question. All right, so guys, when I talk about cheats, hacks, and mods, what is one thing that goes to your mind immediately?
GoldenEye.
It's a great place to start.
Well, it's honestly the first thing that pops into my head because it had such a robust cheat menu. And I was thinking about it. I don't know that I've interacted with a cheat menu quite as extensive as that since then.
That's possible. I mean, was it the first cheat menu? I wonder.
No, that can't be. That can't
No.
be. There's cheat menu?
I mean, right. There's like putting in a cheat has always been a possibility, but since the olden times when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Yeah, menu's interesting. I don't know.
I mean, I know Sonic CD, either Sonic CD or Sonic 2 or 3 had a cheat menu way before GoldenEye.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured it
probably.
couldn't be the first.
For me,
That's okay. GoldenEye's got plenty of other firsts to have, so that's fine. Anyway, sorry.
For me, for the N64, if we're talking about cheats, I think of Cheetah, the book for Banjo-Kazooie.
That's a great
Yep.
choice too.
Banjo, obviously.
Yeah.
And then we also think about Metroid a little bit too when it came to the password stuff because it was weird. Things happened. You can't write get Ridley motherfucker because then after that when that happens the game just completely turns off on you.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So there is literally a clip of someone making me try this, and it just shut the game off for me, and I'm like,
No shit. That's wild.
I'm like, interesting, very interesting. Hold on, what?
Right. Well, cheating can also include, like, I don't know if anyone else here had like siblings or friends. I didn't have friends, but if you played like a split screen game, you know, cheating would just be like, oh, where are you? And just taking a glance at Mario Kart 64, which block fort color are they on? It's like, yes, and then follow with a red shell. Like that's sort of a form of cheating that can only happen in those types of games, but it's a little bit more meta, I suppose.
Okay, see, that's the difference. That's cheating. Cheats, on the other hand, are like
Built into the game.
it's built into the game. You can bullshit around with what it is in the game. Like you can it's fine because it doesn't hurt anybody with the cheats at least. Because usually those are meant to like bejewel around the game. So I'm just like, okay, I can use cheats in the game because the game allows me to use them. It's not out of game. It's not like I found something immediately, you know?
So speaking to the Banjo-Tooie section of cheats, I definitely turned on the cheats in Banjo-Tooie as a kid, and I have a distinct memory of being able to reach one of the jiggies with relative ease, shortcutting most of the puzzle. And I had a conversation one time with a Banjo-Tooie speedrunner on stream where I was like, I'm pretty sure you could just like make this jump. And he was like, well, if you can, you should show it to me because nobody does that. And come to find out, the only reason why that is possible is if you have the ability to run really fast, which is a cheat.
Right. You thought you could do it because you used to cheat when you did.
Which made me feel great with, you know, telling a professional speedrunner, hey, you know, if you cheat, you can get the answer very quickly.
Also, I want to thank the 2 followers that came in. I have anonymous follows on, and I usually try to keep them silent here because I want to like make sure we don't have like a long show tuning there just like singing about hello, welcome. So I'll just say welcome to you.
Sounds like a missed opportunity.
Right. So here's the funny part. Do you want to know about some cheats that we didn't know existed? How about those cheats in the game that you didn't know that existed? Like, you were not expecting it to exist, but it's there, and you gotta deal with it now. It's there. So, one being the question mark glitch in Super Mario World. It's a glitch, so it's a little bit more of like a glitchy cheat, but it's
You said Mario World for Super Nintendo?
Yeah, Super Mario World. There's a little cheat to that which allows you to get this weird item box that allows you to basically turn all the Koopa heads into these swollen heads.
That doesn't sound like a cheat. Isn't that so there's a thing in Super Mario World where when you beat it, you can replace all the Koopa shells with like these like weird mask helmet things.
That thing.
Yeah, but that's so what I don't remember is that is in the game, but I don't remember if it's in the Super Nintendo version or like the Game Boy Advance, like Mario Brothers 5 or whatever the weird naming convention was for it. But that was like programmed like as an intentional reward for beating Bowser in a version of Super Mario World.
Yeah.
I feel like that could still considered a cheat in the sense that it like shortcuts the game in a way that is not like the most logical path, might say. But there's obviously a gray area too, for sure.
Yeah. So now we're gonna go into some of these hard hitting questions. Hold on.
Ooh, questions.
The journalism is real, guys. I promise.
Ooh, now I'm excited.
Okay. How was your day? No,
oh, is it going that deep? Boy,
My mother never held me. Right?
Okay. Sir, I am not a therapist, so I'm sorry.
No, I am.
Sign on the door.
So tell me.
But no. The first question is, what was the very first cheat you ever did in a game that you can remember?
Yeah, of course.
Because I can't say the very first one because we all don't remember the very first one we did. But
Well, I think so. Again, like we already said the word gray area, and I think we're just going to encounter a lot of like, oh, is it technically like whatever? Probably my best example I could give to this is Super Mario Brothers 3, where in the first level you can stand on top of a big white like block, like some of the platform elements are just big blocks, and there's a white block, like not even halfway through the first level that you can just crouch on, and as you're crouching, eventually, like after 5 seconds pass, you fall through, and then you end up in the background of the area. I don't think it's definitely an intentional design, because you do use that to get a warp whistle in like 1-3, I think. I think it's 1-3. You go behind the end of the stage, and it just takes you to a Toad house with a warp whistle. But yeah, NES is my first console, so anything on there would it would be the area that I explored cheats. I don't remember a lot. We did have a Game Shark, I think, but I don't. Yeah, that's also like 25 years ago or something.
ooh, but Game Sharks are fun. I'm not gonna lie, Game Sharks are fun.
Oh yeah.
I had an answer, and now I have a different answer.
Ooh.
So my first one was very clearly, obviously, the missing no glitch from.
Oh, also good answer. Yep.
Also good
Yeah.
answer.
The minute you said Game Shark, I was like, wait a minute. And yeah, I mean that was a hell of a thing. That was an easy thing to explain. Didn't require a lot of skill, and I relied on that very heavily. And I it was my very first playthrough of Blue, and I kept that file for a long time, and I decided in my stupidity to catch Missing No, and I lost
we all did
the
it.
file completely. Yeah, this is the way that, but I lost it completely, and I cried because I was devastated.
Yep.
And then just recently, I finally did a living Pokedex, which made my young child person feel healed. The other answer I was going to give was sort of more recently, but before I got into Twitch and watching speedruns and so forth, I had a really hard time getting the golden scale in Ocarina of Time, which was because of a misunderstanding based on the guidebook that I had. So I used a trick to get a piece of heart that is required, or that requires gold scale. It was not the easiest way to do it. It's not the way I do it now. But it was an interesting process to look up very specifically, how do you do this? How do other people do it? That was my first real example of gaining knowledge about tricks from other people.
We're gonna go into cheats. There's two that I vaguely remember that I did. The first one was for the Super Nintendo, because of course it was for the Super Nintendo. I found something regarding a game which is not talked about. It's a Nintendo title that's completely ignored nowadays, because it came out for the SNES and then never got anything afterwards. Just nothing. It's called Tin Star. It's a first person shooter on the SNES. And what happens is you're just moving a cursor around the whole thing and trying to shoot everything. It's kind of like an arcade shooter in some aspect. So
it looks like Metal Gear Slug. Whatever it's called.
Metal Gear Slug, now brought to you on your Game Boy Colors.
There it is.
Sponsored by Salt.
Sponsored by Salt. But yes, all in all together, it was a fun time to mess around with it. What it did was, there was this one game that they did as a warm-up. It was always a warm-up. So what it was essentially, you would shoot a bottle before, there's a bottle on a fence post, and you just shoot that thing the whole time. And instead of me actually instead of me actually shooting the thing, what happened was if the cursor just like glided over it, like just brushed it on the side, it automatically shot.
Okay.
Oh, I would just mess around with that little glitch. It was fun because I didn't have to like press a button to shoot. I was too lazy for that apparently. So, I just glided a cursor over the thing, and I was like, "Yep, I ain't missing with this." And like, can't you just push the button to Nope, nope. Mm-mm. That is too much. Too much pressure.
Too much work.
Too much work. Too much pressure. How dare you?
This kind of. This kind of sounds like the I think it's forward special duck hunt dog in the Smash Ultimate, because he's got this little can and it like you can keep hitting it and then eventually it'll explode. It might just be natural. But I don't think they got that from that game, but it sounds exactly like how you're describing it, where they keeps hitting the can over and over, and in Smash it just eventually explodes or something.
Yes. And then my other one, which was kind of stupid. So I played a lot of Sonic Battle on the Game Boy Advance when I was like a lot younger. I love Sonic Battle. And R.I.P. ML, because that was still a sad moment and I still cry about it to this day. But ML had a very special ability, which was great. Essentially it was called Character Rush, because ML has the ability to grab abilities from all the all the fightable playable Sonical characters. So what happened was, I would like to mix and match. I would like Knuckles punch, Shadow's kick, Rouge's flight ability. I want Tails' choo choo bombs. I want Sonic's speed. I want Cream's healing ability. I want Amy's tornado hammer. I wanted things. That was all it was. But then I got this cheat book one time because you remember Scholastic school book fairs where they would have like all these books for sale. So I found a cheat book and it had Sonic, and I found out that Sonic Battle had cheats, and I'm like,
game changer.
Because I didn't know where to find the passwords, because apparently there were passwords in the game. They could activate at the Sega team building in the game. So I found the password room. I looked at the passwords. I'm like, let me get my favorite character in here. Hold on. Now, here's the funny thing. Cream the Rabbit was my favorite character in Sonic Battle because she was broken. Most people are like, Cream, but she gets knocked down very quickly. She heals in seconds.
Oh, well.
In seconds. I'm not waiting for anybody. No, she heals in seconds. So I'm like, let me get Cream's combo. And then before I knew it, it came with this special chip when I put in the code. Special chip. And what it does is it replaces one of your special attacks with a barrage of that specific character's attacks. So you just see ML throwing cheese around multiple times and going crazy and knocking people out in one hit. And I'm like,
that sounds dope.
I'm like, what was that? What was that? Like, oh god. Whew. All right. So yeah, that's what happened. This is what happens when you give me a game and I lose my mind. Like, it was fantastic. It was great. It was fantastic. I will never put it down after that. But
I don't want to jump topics, but like it kind of feels like this is a thing that can happen with me, and I've heard with other players. If you go down the road of like cheating or modding, and you sort of build the game and conform it to like your own desires, which is good. And I think you made the distinction earlier, like sort of the difference between cheats and cheating is like, oh, if you're going to do it in multiplayer and you're getting an advantage over someone else, that's cheating. But you can sort of trap yourself where you go so far down the rabbit hole of playing with cheats and getting used to them and modifications to the game that eventually there is sort of like a nice sort of cleansing effect of just playing the vanilla game once. Like, oh man, what is that? Like, I don't even remember anymore. I've been playing a different game this whole time. And that's definitely an experience I've had with like, especially with mods on Skyrim, Stardew, things like that.
Unfortunately, with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, where the rando sort of removes the like incessant cutscenes.
Yeah.
It is hard to go back to either of those games for that reason. I just can't do it. It's awful.
I know for me at least, Metal Gear kind of turned into that a little bit because they give you the cheats for beating the game. So whenever I would go through, whenever I'll go through another run of Metal Gear and I have the cheats, I'm just like, we're doing this again. We're doing this again. We're doing it again. But this time we're going in with no worries of ammo whatsoever. No ammo. No need to worry about ammo. Who needs ammo? Okay, I don't need ammo. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm fantastic. You know what? Fuck it. I don't need to spend anything. And it's because I stole the Patriot from the boss, and you know, as sad as that is, I also won. So just
and that's what counts.
And that's what counts. Oh, by the way, here is the glitch I get to show you. I get to show you the glitch. If it will appropriately work today.
Now, the Metal Gear example, did that work like a New Game Plus? Is that what that kind of worked as?
Yes, it's not really a cheat. It was a New Game Plus, but still, it's like you feel overpowered.
No, it feels like cheating.
I wish they did that more often, honestly. I feel like that's rewarding.
Like, it feels like cheating, but at the same time, you know it's legit. Here we go.
So which game is this? This is the Tin Runner?
No. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me put the sound on at least. But what you call it? Like, this is literally what happened. What happened was we were just playing an innocent game. Very innocent game. You know, just nothing too crazy.
Oh, this is Metroid. Okay, I'm caught up.
Yeah, this is the whole thing was on Metroid. It was just how. If I can see things, where is my thing?
Not allowed. That would make it easy, and streaming ain't that.
Right.
Watches my streams, she's gonna be like, "Why are you cursing on stream?" And I'm like, "It's too late, Mom. The damage is already done." An error has occurred with the game.
An error has occurred with the game.
Amazing. It's like the screen in a horror game where it like blue screens and pretends the game crashed and then goes back to normal.
Oh no, it didn't go normal. It just shut off the whole game.
Yeah, no, I get you.
It was like, we're done. We saw what you did. We're done. Okay, you cheated, and that's it. That's all that's all that goes. And I was like, does this work? And they're like, yes. I also wanted to ask, what was the first glitch you've ever exploited in a game? Because glitches are kind of like cheats, but they're exploits in the game. Take advantage.
Right, and I think we sort of talked about this earlier, where there's a difference between intended glitches and unintended. Like Missing No is a great example of like, this is a glitch that was not intended to be found but became very popular, whereas I think the Mario 3 example of sneaking behind the background was obviously intended, if for no other reason than it was like maybe a dev exit or something like that. But I think like as far as an unintentional glitch that was taken advantage of, I think Missing No is a really good answer. There's even I know maybe Sim, you know about this more than I do, but like people speed running Ocarina of Time will lift the cartridge out slightly to make whatever his name, the jerk elf not appear guarding the Deku tree.
Mido.
I've only ever vaguely heard of that being a thing. I've never actually seen anyone do it, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, I do unintended things that I should not be doing all the time in both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. And I enjoy learning those things because it is like an aspect of the game, even though it wasn't intentional, right? Which I think is really cool that we can interact with something that has been created and set down, and we can like test the limits of it and enjoy it for, you know, all of the crazy problems that it has.
Yeah, I don't think I discovered anything in my youth that I was able to take advantage of. Most of it is just like spreading rumors and things. Ocarina of Time is flush with stuff like that, at least historically. And now it's definitely much more in the context. Like I've played a bunch of, or at least a handful of Zelda randos. I definitely dabbled in like getting Mew in the original Pokemon games using sort of missing no hacks, things like that. I don't think it's something I do much now, but maybe dabbled a little bit when I was speed running, or looking into speed running and stuff.
Did you find like the fusion of Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno, or did you find Venustoys? You know, the old Pokemon rumors that we used to get.
Oh yeah.
Did you catch the Crystal Onyx? I gotta know.
Yeah. Did you catch the Mew under the truck? I looked.
I was told by children that were older than me that claimed that their uncles worked for Nintendo or whatever.
Right.
That if you beat the Elite Four 100 times, they gave you a bomb that would blow up Fuchsia City and would let Safari Pokemon
familiar.
be wild Pokemon that you could catch.
I think I heard that too, actually.
Which I think is it's a crazy thing. It's only just unbelievable enough to not be true.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Which, by the way, for everyone in chat as well, what is the craziest glitch you've ever done in a game? That's an open question for y'all. What is the craziest glitch you've ever done in a game? I actually had one that I learned of so late in the game. A friend of mine that goes by the name of Bubs, he comes in here every now and then and tries to scare me. I don't know why. It's an ongoing thing. But yes, he came in here and helped me out with Metroid a little bit, and he was like, "Listen, I know this is gonna be very hard, but there's a glitch that allows you to climb walls, and go through, and you have to do it by doors. So you have to basically sink through the doors." And I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Listen, it's very difficult. I haven't seen anyone perform it before," and I ended up performing it on stream. So basically, what you do is you have Samus stand by the door. And what happens is you have to get Samus to glitch through the wall by the door, and then you hop upwards through the wall right under the door to get to the next door, which was a fantastic hop. Like it was one of the better glitches I got, because at the end of the day I ended up getting the Varia suit very quickly. And I was taking half damage for most of my attacks. So I'm like, yes, this is perfect. I can get through Metroid now. I can do this. Okay? I can do this, Mom.
Yep. I gotta ask. You said Bubs was their name?
Yes.
Bubs didn't happen to invent a popular drop in Celeste, did they?
I'm not sure, actually.
Because that, I mean, talking on glitches that are like sort of exploits that I've performed, Bubs drop. Celeste is the game that got me into speedrunning, and one of the tricks I taught myself that a lot of people on boards and Discord said was very difficult, and it is. But I eventually learned how to do what's called Bubs drop, which wasn't even like a glitch or breaking the system. It really just took advantage of the respawn system, where if you had like a pixel perfect jump in a screen transition, typically you transition, it's a screen transition going up. So you typically jump there and you land on this platform, but if you jump small enough, you can not land on the platform and fall back down. And when you retransition, it resets your spawn point and then lets you skip part of the level by pulling that off. And it's like, it was such a big deal in Celeste. I don't know if it's still used. I haven't looked in a while, but that was one of the really hard and really powerful exploits that I used in Celeste. So it's funny you brought that up, that his name is Bubs. It'd be great if it's the same person. I think that'd be hilarious.
Oh boy, I have a famous person in my stream.
No, seriously, it's totally a thing. There was a group of people that tried attributing a trick to me, but like I didn't discover it. Someone else taught it to me, but I kind of popularized it for a moment in the Celeste community because I did it in a race. Similarly, like there's a lot of exploits taking advantage of spawn points in that game. where you can basically each level has a second exit by collecting a certain collectible, kind of like Mario World has. And you know the number of things that that game has programmed, Celeste, that is tools for speedrunners is really valuable and really cool. And I did, and I don't want to keep talking for too long, but I also did want to bring it up in the context of cheats, because I think cheats are sort of evolving in a way and becoming accessibility features. Celeste has a whole menu dedicated to what's called assist mode, which in the 90s we would have just called cheats, but they can give you things like infinite stamina or invincibility, but it's framed in a way that, like, if the game is too hard, which it is, you can use assist mode and then you can get through the story and it's just fine. You don't have to feel bad or anything like that. So I think that's a really interesting recontextualization of how we see cheats now as well.
Back in my day.
Oh yeah.
You had to go through the whole game just to get one crappy pixelated picture that was spelled incorrectly.
Just for the princess to tell you didn't find her.
Congratulations.
Yep.
You are
exactly.
Donkey Kong Country Returns has a similar feature. That I mentioned to assist mode, where it's like an invincible Donkey Kong that you essentially it gives you a sense of all the aspects of the level, and maybe it lets you continue on to the next one. But I feel like there are some nice opportunities to like give people the experience they want. Which I definitely think is the preference now over this like sort of esoteric list of cheats that are like hidden out in the world, and you find out from your brother's friend, and you know, it is a different world, but I don't like it less. I think it has.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So now that we've talked about some cheats and glitches, let's go into some modding in games.
Hell yeah.
What are some of your favorite mods / hacks?
Skyrim, all like Control A. Just like I have modded a crap ton of Skyrim. Not the most. I've seen people with like, 900 mods, but I definitely like have run files with 150 mods running.
What was that one you did on stream with the walruses or something?
Oh my god.
I did an April Fool's thing. There's a very good modder for the Skyrim modding community named Arthmore. He's on the team that creates the unofficial Skyrim patch, which is basically a necessity for modding the game at all. And he has a bunch of like great mods that are just like minor tweaks to the game to increase realism and things like that. And then he also has a mod, I forget what they're called, but they're like, these giant walrus horkers. He has a mod called Horker Apocalypse, and he doesn't even, and it's like the first mod he gives that like there's no helpful description, there's no helpful instructions on how to install it. He just says like you can't install this, like horkers have taken over the world, like there is no hope beyond this point. And that's like how he describes the mod, and it's just this overly ridiculous thing, and all it is just loading the game with a shit ton of horkers for no reason or benefit, and that's the whole mod. Just fill the game with horkers.
Oh no, a friend of mine did that recently. He goes by the name of Brecht Wizard. He was playing Skyrim. And instead of it being like cheats and mods, he was doing crowd control. And one of the things that and we were just helping him test crowd control, which was funny. I had over 200 points, and he made bears to spawn only 1 coin. So I spawned over 150 bears, and they were just crowding the whole area. And mind you, they listen, the bears couldn't stay on the floor, so what some of them were doing were like, some of them were filled with helium and they were just floating in the sky like people
stacked,
and I'm just like, I love this. Flying bears. And it's like, hey look, flying bears, the world is innovating. No, the world is trying to kill us. I mean, it's fine, it's cool, but flying bears.
Skyrim was not designed to accommodate that. Which makes it better.
Game, Alex.
Yeah, it makes it part of its charm. Absolutely.
What about you, Symmetric? What is one mod in game that you enjoyed?
I certainly don't do as many like of the I don't know. I mean, I guess rando is what I do most often. But I suggested Alex to be here because I knew he had knowledge of mods that I was tertiarily related to, like Skyrim and Stardew, which is I'm sure another thing you could talk about.
Well,
Alex,
I can toss you a bone a little bit. I mean, cheats, mods, and hacks. We didn't go into defining them because honestly, good choice. We could be here all day. But there is a way to define these terms sensibly. That like a rando sort of seems like a hack in the way like Super Mario ROM hacks exist. But modding might be more along the lines of doing multi-world Zelda, which I think is a super interesting topic right now because there's actually been a lot of advancements on Breath of the Wild multiplayer, like co-oping, as well as Skyrim co-op. But you have a lot of experience with co-op Ocarina and Majora Rando.
yeah, that's right. And the nice thing about it is, like for context for rando, like if you want to play with multiple people, there are a number of ways to do it, and you could do it sort of with separate files and play to some sort of external goal like bingo, which is I vouch for bingo whenever I can, or you could have some means of playing within the same game or the same sort of universe. I think what's more popular is multi-world, where everyone has their own worlds, but all of their items are randomized within each other's worlds.
Right.
Which is one way of sort of connecting people's gameplay experiences when playing multiplayer. But the other, which I prefer, the problem about multi-world is there isn't usually a way of randomizing items to appear such that everyone always has something to do. So if one of your items is in the last place that somebody else looks and you can't make any progress, you're going to sit there for a while. Mm-hmm. And that's just your progress ends up being very reliant on other people's progress. But online is cool because you're playing one game. There's one world and everyone's playing in that same game. And it drastically reduces how long co-op games take, which is really nice. But it's also like just fun to see other people in the game and be like, oh hey, it's Alex, we're in the same area, I can hear him yelling across the map because he's a maniac.
That does happen that way.
So yeah, it's a whole it's an interesting sort of addition to playing the game. And they also they're like integrating the ability to actually hurt other people.
Oh God,
which may lend itself more to a competitive.
I look forward to it.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know how much you've played Hito. I'd be curious to hear your experiences.
When it comes to what exactly hacks
rando, what your rando experience was like, and how horrible it is.
Oh, first off, I do Kaizo levels. I do Kaizo levels, and I'm gonna tell you this. I love how Pixel Noise's one emote is blocking my face.
Perfect.
It just pop it right there. Just
nailed it.
Snapped it. Just stamp it right there. But yeah, I play lots of Mario hacks. I play lots of Kaizo levels. I've been slowly like going into those, and I have to say, Kaizo levels are some of the most difficult things in the world.
Oh yeah. Okay,
so I don't know if anyone had like during my high school years, I was looking at this one Kaizo hack that was just pure music, like just all of Mario's sound effects, jumps, and everything, just like matched this really good music, like some of the percussion beats and everything. And I'm like, so is Kaizo just like a whole level that's just music? That's what I originally thought. And then I looked at Kaizo,
Whoops.
and then, mind you, I started slowly getting into it more and more. I was like, okay, learn the Kaizo kindergarten. We're getting a little closer. Good. I still can't do a shell hop worth jack anything. I try to shell hop. I don't know how to shell hop.
It's not easy.
Like I've done it a couple of times, but by luck, by so much luck.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing you can do just by like brute force after a while and save states or something, but to like do it consistently is, yeah, I've seen people do it, but that's absurd.
Like it's one of the most difficult things to do. Like, and then also just getting through all the tight spaces or building bridges for like creatures so you can like jump over them because they're also technically a part of the obstacle. Kaizo levels are just freaking insane. And then we go to randomizers. For any of you in chat right now that do not know, I am doing a Legend of Zelda randomizer on my YouTube channel. I've edited most of the nonsense, but they make the point really clear about all the times that I have wasted 3 hours looking for a chest at some point where I'm literally crying in the corner hoping I could find a chest that will provide me some sort of, relief. I'm at the desert temple. I don't have Pegasus boots to knock down a key, and I notice that the key that's like right there is the big key I need to beat the damn boss and open that big freaking chest, and I can't open it because I don't got no Pegasus shoes.
Oh, which Zelda is this? Is this like Link's Awakening?
Link to the Past.
Okay, gotcha.
So, mind you, Link to the Past is my favorite one, which is why I'm like, if I'm gonna do my first Legend of Zelda randomizer, I'm gonna do Link to the Past, and I'm only doing strictly this one on YouTube. Like, I'm making videos and stuff like that and editing the whole thing together. So, legit, I'm scared of what I do on that whole entire episode because I'm just like, please find something, anything, okay? Someone throw me a lifeline. That's all I ask. Is there a chest here? And the worst part about it is one of the most important items could be in one of the gambling shops. And I have to keep just trying my best to hope I find something. And hopefully that the item isn't there is not a rupee as well. Because then I will cry about it too. It's like
I have never done. I have done Link to the Past rando on a few occasions. I have never done it by myself. I will never remember where every check is. It's all over the board. There's like so little rhyme or reason as to where things are. So I feel your pain. That's not.
There's a checklist thing that they have online, which I've kind of been just using the checklist, and I'm like, I should have used the checklist when I first started instead of in the middle. I regret this immediately. Like, that's the thing. Episode 3, mind you, I'm still editing episode 3 because that's how long it took me to find any sense of reprieve. It is 2 hours of me crying.
Sounds right. Yep.
So I don't know what to everyone's like, how are you gonna make 2 hours of crying funny content? I'm like, I'm trying my best.
Oh, that's some of the best content on YouTube, though, isn't it?
Yes, just a tad.
I don't have experience with Link to the Past. I didn't grow up with a Super Nintendo. This is like a glaring open spot in like my history. I've owned literally every other Nintendo console and even like an Xbox 360 and PlayStations from PS2 forward. But Super Nintendo is like this blaring empty space. So I don't have a lot of experience with Link to the Past. I do know that their modding community is expansive. It might even be the biggest one, except for like Ocarina of Time. I think has a bigger team or more options.
I know my friend Ramona made one rule when it comes to making a hack for somebody. You can't make the hack of yourself by yourself. Someone has to make it for you. That's the rule.
Makes sense.
In Kaizo, you cannot make mind you, in Kaizo, you cannot make your own hack about yourself. Someone has to make it for you.
Yeah, I've seen that trend in Mario. People like naming hacks after other people instead of themselves. I think maybe Panga Panga has hacks named after himself, but he was also like a pioneer in Kaizo. So I think everyone doesn't mind him having done that.
Ryukar actually has Super Real World, which Ryukar is a big Kaizo streamer. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, like big on the Kaizo content. And legit, I hope one day we can get a Hito hack so I can pull off all the bullshit on Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, I think Barbarous King made like 2 Grand Pooh Bear hacks, which is like a ridiculous name for the hack, obviously. But those hacks are beautifully designed. Just watching playthroughs of them, that seems like if that's where Kaizo is now, it's a long. First of all, it's a long stretch from where it started. But boy, the design on it is so just like intricate and beautiful, and it's almost like storytelling. Man, it really is like a pleasure to watch a lot of those new modern ROM hacks.
Definitely.
To the point that you made about the communities for A Link to the Past Rando, it was definitely the first, and I don't think that the Ocarina of Time
was the
Rando
first
community.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the first big one at the very least.
Gotcha.
And the game, I think the game works pretty well as a rando game because it's small and contained.
Yeah.
Doesn't take too long if you know what you're doing. But of course, you could say that about any rando. But yeah, it's interesting the like stylistic choices that they made that sort of carried over into different communities.
There seems to be an amount of like expected knowledge going into all of these. Like if you are a someone who creates these things, I think you just have a much lower barrier to entry. I think that was one of my problems with Majora's Mask. It's just like it was a lot easier navigating the menu if you like spoke the lingo of like how logic statements work and things like that, which is an understandable place to come from. But like the interface for Ocarina of Time had drop down menus in browser that were very friendly, and I as a noob I really appreciated.
Yeah, the Majora's Mask rando community is not as well developed with less people working on it, and then also they were at the stage of making it accessible to the people who were involved, which seems like a reasonable first place. But of course, if they're going to make it accessible to people coming off the street, which the Majora's Mask rando is not necessarily very easy. It's not already inherently accessible to people off the street. But if that's the case, then if they want that, they're going to have to make it a lot easier to deal with.
I will say,
sure.
I will say this is the good thing about randos for Legend of Zelda from the original NES version onward. It kind of turns the game back to its original base form, which was there was no clear path on how to beat the game. You just did the things to beat the game. So that's kind of what I like about the randos a little bit, because it kind of gives us the original intent of what Legend of Zelda was supposed to be. Like, you could have gone to castles 1 through 9 in a straight path, numerical order if you wanted to, but you also could have mixed it up at any time for the NES version. This one's, you can go to a castle. You don't have to necessarily beat the boss right now, but you could get an item you need for another boss or something like that. And that's honestly the way to go. It gives you those options of strategic things to think through.
Yeah, well, it's also sort of recreating the first experience again. Like, what's it like to play Ocarina of Time? I don't know, but I can almost relive that with a randomizer. It's obviously a very different experience, but it's nice being able to pick up a game you have a lot of familiarity with, a lot of like preconceived knowledge, I guess, and then be able to use that in a situation where you can still be surprised and find unexpected things. I think the concept of randomizer, to me, like as someone who claims to love like game design, I think is a beautiful concept, and I'm so glad that there's like so many teams of people working on it in so many different ways. I just go support your local modders, please do.
Speaking of which, now that you brought up game design, we got our next question.
Hey, we did it.
Next question.
You're welcome.
So the next question is, let me pull up my questions. Here we go. So
that would help.
These are my footnotes. It's fine.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. So the next question I have is, which gaming hack that you feel had the best design behind it?
Yeah, it depends on like what you're defining as a hack. I kind of feel like, do I think Rando is a hack? I guess so. I think I would consider Rando a hack. Well, it's complicated, right? Because
No, no,
I
no.
don't know if
Here's the question again, like the design of the hack. So in other words, I'm thinking more of the game being completely
oh,
redone
like
in
using the elements and just rebuilding it. I see.
making it in some way.
Cool. Instead of like modifying it, which I guess maybe Rando is a mod in that way, but okay.
Yeah.
So a hack from the ground up. I need to think of what hacks I've played. Sim, have you played hacks of games before?
I've watched hacks before.
Yeah.
I've watched various Super Mario 64 hacks, and like Green Stars. It's probably the one that's most immediate in my mind. I've seen hacks for Banjo-Kazooie, where they sort of mix in Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask or whatever. So I enjoy watching those, and I'd love to play one, but I have not myself touched a true hack.
So I have two.
Yeah.
I have two listed as an example.
Sure, go for it.
First one I have is the Sonic EXE hack for Sonic Adventure that they do. They did it based on the creepypasta that's all over. And it's one of the most scary. Okay, it's not scary, but what it is they've updated it to the point where it seems like that the game is fucking with your computer to give you that sense, to give you that Psycho Mantis sense of like somebody's messing with your computer. Of course, it's done off of a shitty creepypasta, so you know the blood and the hyper realistic red and oh my god. Can we just talk about the fact that that creepypasta is poorly written, but it's poorly written in a good way?
Like all creepypastas.
Yep.
Right, poorly written, well executed.
Yeah.
And then the second one is the Earthbound Halloween hack. The one that
oh god, yeah.
The one that Toby Fox actually assisted in with the music.
Yep.
Which I know Toby Fox through Homestuck, Earthbound's holiday hack, and Undertale. So it's like, oh geez. Like you couldn't like, mind you, the Homestuck in me was squealing the second I heard that he made a game and it was Undertale, and I'm like, yep, this is his music. I recognize all of this stuff right now.
Yeah, he has a style that you could pick out, definitely.
Like one of these days I will make video game music as good as that. That's the goal. I want to at least like have some of my tracks somehow hit someone's video game itinerary, and I just get paid because I did the music design. I'm like, yeah, I did that. Sound good? Sound like you're having anxiety right now? Good. That was the plan.
Well, I think it's so cool. He got like a battle theme in, what was it, like Pokemon Shining Pearl or something like that, right?
Oh, wait. No. So that Shining Pearl, Sword and Shield, he made a
Sword and
battle
Shield?
theme. And now he made a few more tracks for Pokemon Scarlet and
nice.
Violet.
Yeah.
So that's actually going to be good. Like he's working on some of the music for that too. So that's actually pretty good. But those are some examples of hacks that I enjoyed, like the Earthbound Halloween hack, because I was being an edgy teenager slash kind of
As
adult.
you do.
Edgy teenager slash kind of adult, where I was liking all the bloody games that were re-editioned in my other games. So those are some hacks I clearly enjoy for those. Wondering what a hack is.
I've heard that. Yeah, go for it.
I was gonna say creepypastas seem like a great source of hack material.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised they don't have a Ben Drown's hack. That seems pretty easy, pretty low hanging fruit, but maybe they do. We just don't know it.
Well, so just to touch on the Earthbound, I played a little bit of the vanilla Earthbound. I haven't played the Halloween hack, but I've heard that if you have played the Halloween hack, Undertale is like the least surprising thing in the world. It's just like, this is very much Toby Fox's style as what he does. But I did watch a video, apparently Ocarina of Time, I think it was at a GDQ event. There's a sort of in-game glitch that was figured out where you could do, I think they call it arbitrary code execution. So by inputting a certain number of, certain way of inputs in a certain way, you can also just like recode the game by like unlocking that feature, and it's all in game. You don't actually have to like hack into the game. But I think at GDQ, they used a task bot to just punch in like millions of inputs in a short amount of time, and they actually reprogrammed like they had an R-wing in the game, they had a fight with the running man in the game, and they had like a whole new like level where you could get the Triforce, and a lot of the things that they were doing were inspired by old sort of myths of Ocarina of Time that used to go around.
So here's the funny thing, just to like put that one, the R-wing was already technically coded into Ocarina of Time because they were using its they were using the way that it moves for one of their bosses, which was Volga, the fire serpent situation. So
Volvagia,
Volvagia, that thing, that the fire.
He's Volga in Hyrule Warriors. I know that mistake.
But yeah, legitimately, they used the R-wing's flight patterns and moving mechanics to basically simulate how that creature will move. So technically the R-wing is in the game, and you can cheat your way into it by just messing around with it. So, you know, just know there's an R-wing in the game that you can take advantage of. You just can't write it though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think they made it like a combat with the R-wing. I think they integrated it somehow. But the crazy thing they did is that they programmed a whole cutscene using reference models of Zelda and Link from Breath of the Wild, and also were able to connect to the internet to get chat appear on screen. And they swear it was totally not like hacked into, like it really is just arbitrary code execution. I don't know the details of it, but just the idea that a game can be like punched into so hard is like super interesting, and like kind of you get to play the technically correct game of like, that's not a mod, it's just a glitch or a cheat or whatever you want to call it.
There's also a few things. Okay, so there's also a few things that goes into it, which you segue into the next question as well.
Oh, I'm a champion over here.
That's the
feed my ego.
That's the third segue in.
Yeah, just someone keep track. Someone keep count in chat.
Just put a number, just ding.
Yeah, a little bell every time.
What is one gaming exploit that you took advantage of in a game?
I definitely learned the Super Mario 3 world record path. There's a couple of ways to do it, and there's like an easy version that I learned, which is sort of arbitrary code execution in a different way. But I was able to beat Mario 3 in like 15 minutes on an original console by following like the wildest, weirdest sequence of hit this Koopa, go on this side, enter this pipe, and then a shadow pipe appears that you jump into on the exact pixel. It's just like, it's wild, and it's also easy to mess up, but that's like something that I taught myself because I have a lot of nostalgia for Mario 3. So that was fun for me.
I don't know if I have a good answer to this. I'd have to think about it.
Well, a lot of the tricks in Ocarina and Majora are exploits, I would say.
Yeah, I just hate that that's what I keep going back to. Interestingly, I think most of the things that I know in Majora's Mask count as exploits. I think there's even more exploits in Majora's Mask than there are in Ocarina of Time.
Almost definitely.
And I feel like that's a product of the like complexity of the game. Right, I think they were able to tie up more like intended loose ends in Ocarina of Time, and then by the time they got to Majora's Mask, like the game was just so complicated, they were focused on other things, and they missed out on various easy exploits that. Well, and also things, Rando allows you to do a lot of interesting things with like sequence breaking, just by virtue of the fact that you have items in a non-intended order. And it's kind of great that the Zelda, developers allowed for that, because in a lot of ways they inadvertently benefited the effort of Rando by choices that they made that were not even intended. So good on them on accident.
All right.
One of the exploits that I really love is anything that involves loading elements into the game. Like I know in Ocarina, you can enter and exit a room over and over and again, and for some reason the way it's programmed, it has to add the element from the previous room again. And if you add enough of them, like the game can't actually load that many elements, so it unloads other things. And they're like, oh hey, I can walk through this door now because it got unloaded. Exploits in the game like that are like, I think they're super clever. I think they're super fun. I love that.
All right. So here is my exploit, funny enough. This is one that I kind of took advantage of twice. And I actually do this in my Nuzlocke run for Sapphire. So there is so this is called cheating the babysitter. So what I did was, and mind you, I jimmied the hell out of this. I think this was a term of, I actually cheated in a game.
Uh-oh.
I actually cheated in the game. What I did was I took my console. I took the GameCube controller for Pokemon Sapphire because I was using the Game Boy player to play Pokemon Sapphire on the GameCube.
Nice.
And what I did was I put 2 Pokemon in the Pokemon Center. I went to the desert route where there's this one pair of stairs that you cannot go up on a certain bike that you use, the Acro bike. And what I did was I had my character keep going up that whole time and bouncing back, but it counted as a step each and every time. And what I did was I took one of my hair bands, wrapped the control stick just to go up, made some weird contraption, and I just kind of had the thing going for like 6 to almost 12 hours a day, gaining 1 XP every time it happened, and then coming back to see my Pokemon is at like level 60 or level 70, ready for the Elite Four.
Been there. Hell yeah. Those are good ones too.
If I may, I have 2 examples of that that I feel like are wonderful. The first is I have a friend who has done blindfolded Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and both of those are crazy. Obviously, there's like limits to things that they can do. 100% is very difficult, but in Majora's Mask, there's a section where you fight aliens, right, at the ranch, and that's a hard enough thing to do blindfolded. Obviously, like he could have tchotchkeyed some method of doing it, but funny enough, if you in that scene, in that battle, repeatedly pause, like it's like 2 or 3 hours, what happens is the aliens don't move, but time passes. And then the aliens never reach the barn and you never lose. But it's literally took him a whole stream of constantly pausing and unpausing. But he was like, this is the best way to get through
The
it.
blindfolded strat. Oh my God, that's right.
It's insane. That's the first one. And the second one is what gave me a hard time as a child, which was the Canary Mary race in Banjo-Tooie in Cloud Cuckoo Land. So the second time that you interact with her, which has like the worst rubber banding ever, even worse than the Goron race in Majora's Mask. I've never done it myself. I've only ever had somebody else do it for me. And a lot of speedrunners there's like a spoon method. There's like a particular like movement with a spoon that like makes it so you are able to beat her. And I'd love to learn how to do that someday. But I think that's insane. They did the like required using other items to in your real life to get through something that's impossible.
Like a hairband.
Like a hairband. That's crazy.
Which, by the way, I do have a second one to an exploit that I've done. And this one is without using a hair product.
Or a spoon.
Or spoon. So, in the original Mega Man, most people do not know this. I figured this out when I was doing the Mega Marathon. I was doing all the original Mega Man games from Mega Man 1 to 11. and this was for the Trevor Project stream I was doing. And on the very first game, someone was like, you know, you could just keep tapping the pause button and the move that you did will still do damage, right? Like, it'll just phase, stop, phase, stop, phase, stop. Each and every time. So I'm like, oh, really? And so I tried it on the Yellow Devil, because the Yellow Devil is one of the most annoying bosses to fight in Mega Man.
I had to stop playing Mega Man 1. I tried playing it relatively recently, and I couldn't get past it. I'm pretty sure that's where I had lost.
Well, now you can with this really cool. with this, so you use the
Doctors hate it.
So
right.
what you're gonna do is you use the electric current move. You use Electman's electric charge attack, and what you do is you let it attack Yellow Devil in the eye once, pause, then unpause, pause, unpause, pause, unpause, pause, unpause, pause, unpause, and he's taking constant damage from this move.
So long as it's overlaid on the eye still as you unpause, yeah.
Yep, that is correct. And so you could do a crap ton of damage, and it works with every single boss in the game. Every single one. So, but the second I learned how to beat the Yellow Devil, I felt the need to take advantage of this for the rest of the stages.
Does it take a long time?
It not really, actually, because it does a lot of damage in one shot. Once the move is like past the Yellow Devil, you just stop, and then you just go on and get to the next spot, and then you get it ready again. And it's not as hard as you think. Like it's the pause is pretty quick too.
Yeah, we're definitely in the scale of minutes here, like maybe double-digit minutes, but probably single-digit minutes versus hours.
Yeah, it's single-digit minutes. It took me like 7 minutes to beat Yellow Devil that way. It didn't take that long.
So enough time that it's probably not what they do in the speed run, but
It's actually a speedrun strat.
Oh, it is. Oh, interesting. Huh.
I can imagine that, actually, yeah, because like
the Yellow Devil, beating the Yellow Devil that way, like the original way, is very, very scary. So for you to do something like that, you want to make sure that you can actually like bypass most of the things. And Yellow Devil's usually one of those obstacles that kills a speed run. So with that being said, you use this pause glitch right off the bat.
Yeah, and one of the reasons it's not a speedrun strat is because Yellow Devil, part of the reason it's difficult is like he becomes invincible. So like if you have an opportunity to deal a bunch of damage, even if it's like pause, unpause, it's still faster than like hitting him once and then you have to wait suddenly while he like moves around the map, and it's like very hate that guy.
and potentially damages you for a lot of health.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
I feel like I want to throw out one more example, which I'm really stretching the definition of exploit here, but since we're in the realm of like real world examples, I want to gloat a little bit and say I was in a Magic the Gathering tournament, and how can you exploit without like cheating in a tournament? Because I didn't cheat, I swear. What I did do was I don't know how much people know about Magic the Gathering. I'll use very simple terms, but my opponent, you have like cards you can play and then resource cards, basically how you play the cards you need to win. And I had a handful of lands, just all resources. I had no way to win. I had no way to play cards. But you can play one resource per turn. So on like my second or third turn, I didn't put down a land. I didn't use my opportunity to play a resource when I could have. And my opponent was like, what? So my opponent thought that I had a hand full of cards, like full of action that I was able to play. So every turn after that, I would draw a card and then play a land. And my opponent's just thinking like, oh God, he's got a hand full of stuff. I can't even get past this. What do I do? Meanwhile, I'm literally playing nothing. Like that was my exploit.
You bluffed
completely. Yeah, my bluff. I don't know if bluff's an exploit, but like that was one of the wildest games. I was like, because it was like a high stakes game. I was trying to get into the Pro Tour at the time, and this guy was like friends with like. I saw him talking casually with like one of the like world champion competitors, which is like, oh my God, this guy keeps like friends and competition like that. Like I'm fucked. But I pulled that off against him, and I was so like childishly proud of myself because it's really hard to do anything like that. It usually just screws you over. But that was a really cool moment and kind of a weird way to take advantage of a different system in the game without technically cheating or even remotely cheating. It's a fair game play.
Oh no, trust
Makes me wish.
I have a friend like that too. You know, except it was for the game Vanguard. And he's probably still watching.
Yeah,
he knows who he is. Okay,
you know.
don't guard. I'm going to guard
Mm.
every time.
It makes me feel like the you mentioned earlier, like screen sniping. I wish there was a way for you to give false information about where you were as sort of a bluff. Like that's the way to. That'd be an interesting way. I don't know how you do it, but it'd be an interesting way to combat screen sniping.
Definitely. Okay. I got another question.
Shoot.
All right. What are some favorite modifications in certain games that you enjoy? What is a game that you enjoy mods on the most? I know Oh, no, say what you were going to say.
Well, it's been a while since I've modded a game. Like I did mention earlier, I've done a lot of Skyrim modding, but I definitely have answers to this. I just have
not
to think
only
about it.
you did like a very extensive list of he provided an index of all possible Skyrim mods.
Right. Well, I did like a tier list also of like these are the necessities. These are the really powerful good ones, and these are like the niche fun things that don't affect big parts of the game. And yeah, that was definitely a list of like 1 to 200 mods. I forget how many for Skyrim. Yeah, I think there is a mod. Like I love small mods. I love mods that just drop a little bit of fun into the game. As a game design philosophy, I really believe in like structure. A good structure makes you like a game. Good details make you love a game. And my go-to example for this is for anyone who's ever played Papers, Please. Papers, Please is a beautiful game. It's a great puzzle game. But the thing that you remember and you always love is the character Georgie. And he's just got such great dialogue, and his involvement in the story is very interesting. But like he's just such a fun, silly character. And I think he's a great like detail that makes you, oh yeah, I love that guy. And he's just a detail. But I mentioned Arthmore earlier, the Skyrim modder who did Hork Apocalypse. He has a lot of mods that are just small little additions to the game. One of them is just adding beehives to like the honey brew meadery because they need beehives. It doesn't make sense they don't have them. You want to shut that out? Yeah.
Yep. Hold on a sec. We got rated by 112. 112.
112.
112.
Uno dos.
Eins, zwei? Is that it?
Zwei, Oh, look at that! Look, we were just talking about the devil. Except this is a remake of the devil.
Oh God! Oh no!
Were we not just talking? We were just talking about
we
this.
were just on the Yellow Devil and how much, and I haven't beaten it yet. That's where I stopped in the game.
Ooh, you were playing Klonoa, the new Klonoa.
Ooh.
Nice. We're talking about cheats, hacks, mods, you name it. And speaking of which, piggybacking off of you, Alex.
Please.
There is this one mod that I enjoy the most. Putting random characters in Sonic Adventure 2 battle. Okay, so here we go.
So I have a lot of Adventure 2 battle knowledge. Please fill me in.
So the fun part about it is when you add characters that didn't even exist at that time, like Mephiles or Shade, the Echidna, or just a whole bunch of random ones. Or if you're feeling really excited about it, you add the Goose from Untitled Goose Game, and you just see him on a rock. Just beautiful,
incredible
Goose, just Goose mode, and go through.
Goose Game's a game I want to play a ROM hack of. That's what I want to do.
Oh wait, we got a good message from our friend 112. Hold on a sec. I'm gonna pull up our featured chat because this is where we have an awesome thing. And also, would you stop buffering, feature chat? It's rude. We got guests.
Buffer. Screw us, buffer.
No buffer. Behave. Wait, why is the chat? Wait, the chat is paused? What? Okay, you know what? We'll just refresh. We'll see what happens. And if
Chat,
it doesn't...
are you paused?
Chat, are you paused? Are you doing this to me?
Come on, chat.
You can't do this. You can't be this. You can't be this. You can't be this way. Okay.
I'm on you.
Here we go. Boom. Feature chat. It works. Like a charm, I think. Yeah, there we go. Oh, look. There we go. It popped up right there. Look at that.
Hey.
Look at that. There you go.
Hey.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Did you discuss Mega Man 3's debug codes? A lot of those were left in because Mega Man 3 had super rushed development. I did not, but I realized it when I was playing Mega Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of happens way too often. The moon jumping was hilarious, and the ability to freeze animations. Also, so this is where I'm going to kick in one of these days. I am gonna do. Hold on, let me lower down the lights here a little bit because I was looking a little like, you know, I was from a different world for a sec. There we go. But I'm trying to do a Sonic Adventure 2 rando, where it just give me a random character every time. There was this one level.
That's pretty good.
So if you remember one level in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, do you remember Rouge's level in Security Hall, finding the Chaos Emeralds under a time limit?
Security Hall specific. That's towards the end, right?
That's
Is that like
that's like her third stage? It's like in the middle, somewhere there.
I might not remember the level specifically. I definitely remember how her levels work, like her and Knuckles.
So here's the fun part. So replace Rouge with Eggman in the bot.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, can you even beat the levels if you replace them?
It's been done. It's been done on multiple occasions because the way that the mods work is that they give it some sort of fluency. So that way, at least if you're playing a character that you know that will not work for the level, you still can pass the level.
Oh, that's cool. That's wild.
So that's legitimate. That's why I want to play Goose, because I saw Goose in Final Chase, that last Sonic level that's like all crazy with like a rave party in space. Like, just imagine Goose grinding the rails, getting shot out of rockets, running from giant meteors.
Please.
It was great. There's a whole video on it too. Actually, let's reference it. I want to reference this video. Goose,
and that's a long level. That like whole sequence at the end in space. That's actually like not easy.
Sim, aside from Legend of Zelda, what other randos would you ever want to do?
I would
be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do SM64 rando at least once. Which, yeah, most of the randos that I know are for N64 games. The Banjo-Kazooie rando, I think, maybe exists. I know the Donkey Kong 64 rando exists, and for that, it's the appeal to me would be the loading zones. The items themselves are not interesting enough to randomize. But what SM64 does that I really like is that it randomizes the locations of stars. And then also randomizes the world, so you have a nonlinear path through all of the stars.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just the prospect of a star being in a really ridiculous place, or
sounds cool.
A penguin in a ridiculous place, or a boss fight in a ridiculous place. There's so many things that are interesting that there are obviously going to be locations that I'm just not going to be able to get. I know what's involved, and I don't imagine I will become an expert SM64 speedrunner anytime soon. But I do love watching them, and I would enjoy probably playing that the most.
Which, here you go for reference. For reference.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
It's literal Goose. In your Sonic Adventure game. And he honks every time you homing action.
That's awesome.
Like, you get a honk every time.
See, this is beautiful.
Like-
this is why games are works of art.
Like, I just want to play this whole... I just want to force my partner, because he loves the Untitled Goose game, just to play this. Only Goose. It's only Goose. That's it. Just nothing else.
Right, whole game. That's what I want.
Just you want the whole game, only Goose. And then he has a victory pose.
Oh, yes. Oh, we have to see the victory pose.
He moves like Sonic, just like a little bit when he does the victory pose. He's like...
Nice.
Legs stretched out everywhere.
Oh my god. Untitled Goose for Smash when?
Listen,
Honestly, not even a mod intended.
best mod. Best mod. Like, in-game, just Goose. Only Goose. That's it. No questions asked. We love Goose. Goose is great. Goose is great.
I'm glad I said that because I just remembered I've actually played a decent amount of a very popular Super Smash Brothers Melee hack. It's called Project M.
Oh, Project M. Oh, yeah, I love Project M.
Yeah. This is one of I think it's like one of the classic ones that rebalanced all the characters, added new characters. It separated the Pokemon and Pokemon Trainer out, so they're all their own individual characters. Yep. I was very much an Ivysaur main in that game, and it kind of hurts going back to like regular Smash and not having the Ivysaur abilities. Yeah. You had like a Solar Beam. Project M was so much fun. I loved that.
I loved Project M because I modified my Wii just for Project M, and the fun part about it was I actually around with the music in Project M because you had to download something called a BRML converter because they only take in those type of files to change the music in the game. So I had like Danganronpa songs coming on in, like example. I had like the opening to the very first Danganronpa just playing in the background from Final Destination, along with History Maker from Tekken. That ending credit scene, it sounds so epic altogether. And I miss playing Lucas in Project M because he had the charge ability instead of PK. His PK Freeze was his PK Fire. Like they modified PK Freeze to be the same as PK Fire.
They made the similar characters more separate, which I think was just really great. It really felt like a game designed by people that really loved the source material.
Yep, definitely. And it also brought in like all of the Melee heads too, because all the people who liked Melee, they brought back the wave dashing, which you could have done in Project M. They brought back all the good stuff, even though Melee itself had its own upgraded version as well. They actually had
because this is a brawl hack specifically, right? Yeah. It's not actually a melee hack. That's right. Yeah, sorry, I misspoke.
It's a brawl hack, so they got rid of things like no more tripping. Stop tripping.
Yeah.
Your shoelaces are tied. You're fine. You're good. Your shoelaces are great.
Like your father.
I remember when they announced that. Oh, classic.
They also added the wave dashing back in, so now you could do the thing that in Melee that was so good. DI was perfectly controlled, and the costumes were sick. Did you see Princess Peach in her Shadow Queen outfit? It was amazing.
The Mario.
Like
it was Super Luigi, or the Mr. L Luigi Paper Mario outfit.
Delicious. Like I loved it. It was great. We needed more of these things. And then Lucas had Klaus's masked man uniform from Mother 3 when he finds out about his brother, which don't make me sad again. I love the one of the Mewtwo outfits was him from the first Pokemon movie, and like the armor get up was one of his outfits. That was super cool. Things like that. Did you hear you can catch him in Pokemon Red and Blue if you beat the Elite Four 400 times and get like 100 rare candies? Total worth it.
400 times, you strength on the truck.
You have a good one. But yeah, like legitimately, it was hilarious. Like even rumors of hacks were like great. You know what I mean? Like rumors of hacks and like things you couldn't get were fun. Like if you remember during the Melee time, we had an April, like mind you, Nintendo lived off of April fooling the hell out of everybody with things that they could have done in game. Like who remembers? Oh, you could play as Sonic and Tails in Melee. That was April Fools to us.
It's always, but like, no, stop joking around. We want that literally.
Or who could forget that you could catch Yoshi in Pokemon if you evolve a Dragonair and name it Yoshi?
Oh man, I definitely like. There's a weird part of my memory that's like that. You remember that? That's true.
Like, here's the thing: we finally made all of the mods, and we're at that age now where all of the modders and hackers who were like, I want to do this for my game, actually were inspired by. I like to think that they were inspired because they were pissed the fuck off at Nintendo at one point for saying these things and promising them things, and then they cried about it, and you're like,
I'll do it myself.
Like, they legitimately pulled a bender, and they were like, you know what, I'll make my own Pokemon with blackjack and hookers. You know what, forget Pokemon.
It's perfect.
I definitely doodled around with like Pokemon Uranium and stuff like that. That was good stuff.
Speaking of which, later this week, Alex and I are doing a Pokemon Rando.
We are doing. It's my first time playing Pokemon Rando, and I do like it. And we are doing. That's I forgot. Yeah, Sim will be guesting a second time this week.
Streaming on your own channel? Who does that?
Yeah, who does that? It's for nerds or something.
Oh man, but yes, I will say this: like, I skipped over so many of my Pokemon Rando talk, which is funny. I do a lot of Pokemon Rando stuff off stream sometimes, but yes, I plan on doing at one point a Pokemon Soul Link.
Okay.
And at one point a Pokemon race, where what we're going to do is that every single door that you walk through will put you in a random location in game. And you have to hope that you can beat all the gym leaders and the Elite Four. You have to keep track of every doorway you go into. This is an interesting way to do it, because it's like, okay, but I don't have any Pokemon. I'm like, yep, you don't have any Pokemon. You got to try, though. You got to try. Try to have some Pokemon, please. If you don't have Pokemon, you can't fight the Elite. You can't fight the gym leaders. If you can't fight the gym leaders, you can't go to the Elite Four. You can't go to the Elite Four, you'll never become champion. You'll never become champion. You will be a disappointment to everybody. You must stop this now.
Yeah, that sounds exactly accurate.
I mean, that's like Alex is already disappointed in me, so there's so many things.
True. Well, I'm a very competitive person, or at least I enjoy being competitive. So, like all the races and stuff and things like that, like the concept of racing a rando seems super cool to me. I haven't really been very good at randos in any one in particular. But yeah, I'm going into my second day of Pokemon Rando.
I feel like Pokemon Rando is less interesting competitively, unless you're going to do something like a catch-em-all. Because the game's pretty linear. It doesn't, like, the randomizer doesn't non-linearize. It like changes your experience, but it doesn't necessarily change what aspects of the game you play through.
Yeah, it's not randomizer like Ocarina is.
I would actually like to challenge you guys on your thing, but with a different Pokemon game. So, this is going to be interesting. So there is a Pokemon game that has generations 1 through 8, but uses the literal Pokemon Fire Red ROM. And what's going to happen is you're going to have very different teams, each and every one of you, because it's going to have every bird Pokemon from all generations, every bug type Pokemon from every generations, every water type Pokemon from generations, and so on and so forth. It gets really crazy. So that's what's going to happen. And it's a race. It's a big, long race.
Oh dear God.
You also,
so is it new pixel art for all the later gen Pokemon?
Yes, it's new pixel art for all the new generation.
It sounds like a lot of memory.
And and the best part about this, when you pick your starter, you could pick any starter from the generations as well.
That's nice.
So that is going to be pretty. It's going to be pretty fun. Like, mind you, I caught a Pikachu by accident in the Viridian Forest, but I also could have caught a Wurmple, a Blimp, Scatterbug. You could also catch, like, you could literally catch Blipbug as well. Like, they went into Galar too. Like, it's really crazy how far they went in.
This is my problem. I'm a serial Gen 1er, so as much as that actually sounds appealing, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I hate Gens 5 and later.
That doesn't make you a Gen 1er, it makes you a Gen 1 through 4.
I mean, like, I stopped playing at Black and White. I, like, bought it and never finished it. So, like, I have at least experience with Diamond, Pearl, and back. But it definitely like it starts with Gen 1 and like my interest wanes down, and then there's a big drop off after 4. But that sounds really cool. That sounds amazing, honestly.
I tried it
Yeah.
out for a little bit, and then I saved, and then my data got deleted, and I was like, I'm putting this down.
Yeah.
Putting
Fair.
this down. Like, mind you, I didn't stream it or anything. I was just kind of I was testing it. I was kind of having fun with it. I was tickling the jimmies a little bit on that. And
Maybe.
when
As it were.
when I tickled the jimmies, I not only tickled the jimmies, but I spanked it really hard and made it scream daddy.
Oh my.
And I did,
It's that kind of stream. Oh,
and it-
now
and-
I get it.
and
Okay,
it-
hold on.
and it broke. And I broke it. I broke it. It
Oh,
broke.
God.
Okay. So, no, it didn't work. Okay. I was sad. I was very sad.
How far'd you get?
I beat
Do you remember?
Okay, so I beat Misty.
Mhm.
And mind you, I started from the very beginning, and the game crashed.
That's
And
awful.
and mind you, that took me hours because there were so many possibilities of what I could have on my team, and I'm like, ooh, is that blip bug? I want a psychic bug type. Give that to me. It's amazing. Because we never got a psychic bug type until that one came out. Because psychics are weak to bugs. They're scared.
I played through and beat most of Breath of the Wild and got 450 of 900 Korok seeds and let my friend borrow my Switch, and she accidentally deleted it. Which I definitely set it down for a while after that. That has nothing to do with cheats, mods, and hacks, but
The relatable experience,
it's a
though.
relatable experience.
All right, now we're gonna look at some crazy mods for gaming. Are you ready for tier list of hacks? We're gonna do
Definitely
tier
not.
list
Let's
for
go.
game hacks. I don't want .hack games. I want game hacking tier. Okay, here we go. We got
Ooh,
this.
dot hack.
I love .hack, but it's not what I'm looking for. You know what I mean?
I did, yeah, I don't know if I would love it anymore, but I did play all 4 of them when I was an itty bitty boy.
Ooh, sadness right here. I cannot. Oh, here's a few things that goes on. So we have the Pokemon ROM hack and fan games. It's a very short list because there's not that many, but I assure you, it will look good. It looks kind of good. It looks kind of good. So, are you ready to see this list? If you've played any of them.
Let's do it.
I haven't played many of them, so there's gonna be probably some that I might try out later. All right. So where is my Giphy? There we go. Boom.
There we go. Let's see here.
All right. So the first one we have is Pokemon Vega.
Oh yeah, I mean, like the first question is like, do I recognize any of
Do
these?
you recognize any of these box arts?
That one with the Mewtwo on it, maybe?
Oh, it's a new game to play. Because you know what? We like to encourage people. Hey, do you like Pokemon? Do you want to see Pokemon like
Yeah.
get crazy?
We're just gonna become the weird guy with the trench coat. You like Pokemon? You want to try something new?
Oh God. There's also Pokemon Insurgents where I think they actually put dead Pokemon in it.
Oh
where
god.
it's like zombified
Yeah, I've heard of
Pokemon.
that.
It got crazy. There's also a Pokemon that you get to play as one of the teams.
Mm-hmm. Heard of that? That sounds right. Yeah, I don't know if I would remember them by name. Just Pokemon Uranium, but only because that one got a little news coverage because it got, I think it got a cease and desist from Nintendo.
Yeah, it did. I'm putting that on S because it was a really good hack.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
it got a lot of attention.
So we got Pokemon Vega. New game to play?
Yeah, I probably won't be able to name anything about any of these. If you talk about it, I might. Like, I remember being able to play as Team Rocket and dying Pokemon. Those things sound familiar to me, but I wouldn't know which game it is.
That's Pokemon Fire Red Rocket Edition.
Yep, that's the first guess. Sounds cool as hell.
This one was
Yeah.
actually really fun to play. Except your starters are kind of meh.
Isn't it like Ekans and Coughing and Meowth or something?
Rattata, Zubat, or something
Oh,
else.
That's
even
even worse.
better. Yes. Oh, I want to start with my Rattata. Have
Is
it die before I get to SSN.
Is it? Oh God, terrible. I
That
just
was for
got it.
you.
I was like, oh
You're
no.
welcome.
Oh
I got you.
No.
I mean, that's
Next,
obviously why he's in Lavender Town. Anyway.
all right.
Oh god.
You ready for the saffron version? I don't even know what the. Hold on. Let's look up some of these. I'm actually curious. Pokemon saffron version. Fuck. I actually wrote that.
Pokemon Saffrock.
Let's see. A Reddit post by this person here. Hold on.
Let's
We love Reddit. Let's see.
Yeah, Reddit's a place.
A place. Specifically just a place. Alright, what do we got?
r/place.
It's in Spanish.
Perfect. Versal Pokemon.
No. It's in
this isn't even Spanish.
Portuguese.
Yeah.
Like you gave me a Portuguese thing. I wanted it in English and I want it now.
Oh wait, I did play Vietnamese translated Pokemon. You ever do that?
No, I have not. Oh my god. Alright, huh. Pokemon Saffron version features the Great Migration that takes place every 10 years. This event includes all Pokemon trainers, gym leaders, teachers, and adventurers. This time, you'll be part of it too. This game takes place in the Azira region of South America. Prove yourself as the best coach in the world by asserting your dominance among other coaches.
Interesting.
What? Asserting your Okay, Professor Oak needs your help in assessing the migration path of legendary and mythical Pokemon. So make sure he succeeds. There's a lot more to do in this version of Pokemon. We hope you'll have fun with it. Okay.
I've always wanted a version of Pokemon where I could play like the Brock edition and go, can I do the Pokemon breeder route?
That would be fun.
Yeah. The Pokemon Ranger kind of achieves that a little bit.
Maybe. I never played that one, but yeah, maybe.
Neither did I.
Ooh.
Someone in chat can tell us.
What is this? Pokemon Desolation? What? Hold on.
Sounds like a fun, romping good time.
Rompin'. Emphasis on Rompa.
Hell yeah.
Desolation. Hold on. I want to see these. I might actually end up just doing a whole bunch of Pokemon hacks now because of these.
Hey.
I'm getting ideas. Desolation. Oh, look, it features Darkrai.
Cool. Pretty good.
Okay, here we go. What is a dream? A series of thoughts, images, sensations? No. Perhaps it's something more. I'm like, okay, so the Joker wrote this. Got it. Understood.
Perhaps it's more. Pokemore.
Welcome to the Aerith region, a large land mass split into several islands. Aerith is clouded in mystery with a strange, inexpiable...
Hold on. I'm sorry. Aerith is clouded? I'm sorry. Really? Okay. All right. I see what you're doing.
However, somewhere deep down, there is something more to this mystery, somewhat unexpected, impossible even. You will uncover this secret and go down in history. What is your dream? Is it to be a hero? The outcome of Desolation is strongly based on the choices you... Oh my god, they made it Life is Strange.
Ooh.
Okay.
Do you save... what's the name of the town in that game?
What... Something about whales? 2 whales? No, that's a diner.
Okay.
That's a 2 whales and diner.
Yeah, that's fine. Do you choose to save
Arcadia,
or not?
Oh, Arcadia Bay.
Arcadia Bay. There
Arcadia
it
Bay,
is.
there we go.
Save Arcadia Bay.
I want to see more of these hacks. Hold on, what we got? We got Light Platinum version and Dark Rising version. We have Glazed version with Mew in the cover.
Glazed, they've sprinkled?
Maybe, perhaps.
Pokemon or donuts.
Nothing makes me happier than a jelly donut.
Edition Pokemon game.
No, remember 4 Kids that they turned rice balls into jelly donuts?
Mm-hmm.
Just like, oh my god, a jelly donut. Oh wait, hold
Oh my
on.
god, that'd be such a good naming convention for a mod, like Pokemon Jelly Donut and Pokemon like Rice Ball.
Just that would be perfect. It works. Hold on, we got it. Glazed version. Pokemon Glazed version is a ROM hack of Pokemon Emerald version that was released November 30th in 2012. The game starts in the Tunad region with a new Johto region and ends with the small Rancor archipelago. What?
The Rancor.
Sick.
What?
Does it try to eat all the other Pokemon?
Today's the day that you turn 12 years old, which means today is the day you get your first Pokemon. I thought it was 10. Okay. But if
You become a man.
you become a man at 10. But if you were expecting an uneventful journey across the Tunad region, you'd be dead wrong. A mysterious power is sending the Pokemon world and the real world on a collision course. A mysterious team lurks around the ruins of ancient Tunad with a mysterious purpose. You'll meet allies and 3 roaming trainers from the Johto region, as well as a scarfed Pikachu hell-bent on revenge.
This one's written way worse.
We got an edgy Pikachu? Oh
I'm
my
down
God.
for edgy
Glazed-
Pikachu.
It's called Glazed version. How good did we expect this to be?
Exactly, like, oh wait, capture all 5 starters. Choose from 5 starters instead of 3. Okay. Travel across the regions of Tunad, Johto, and Rancor. Okay. Dream World Pokemon. Okay. Pokemon from the Sinnoh, Unova, and Kalos regions. Okay. These are all regions that apparently are hated by Alex. 2 of them at least. Capture all 5 starters. Cool. Rematches with trainers as well as gym leaders. I would love to okay. So I would love to rematch gym trainers without having to do a tournament mode. Yeah, you catch my drift. Like, I don't want to do a tournament mode.
Heart Gold and Soul
time.
Silver did that, I think. You could fight them again one other time.
Yeah, it was like it was ridiculous. Oh, they included the fairy type, which is important. New out of battle effects. Physical / special split. Moves do physical or special damage depending on the move, not the type. What? Okay. I mean, I know we have
Well,
like
yeah, no,
special...
that's normal now. It wasn't that way in Gen 1. Like all fire moves were special. That's just like a normalization change.
No. I think they actually now are doing something. Unless they took the Gen 4 situation, like, yep, these are new things we're adding. I'm like, these aren't new. But then I took I took it as, oh, sometimes physical moves will just be super effective because they feel like it. That's how I took it.
It looks like they're just like updating the game to what is normal because they're probably basing it off of I don't know which version.
All right, so I am confused. I am very. What is? Hold on. What is this? It is Japan. I don't even know what it is. I can't read it. It's in the Japan.
Oh,
not the Japan.
It's in the kanji.
The dead language of Japanese.
Oh my God. In Pokemon, at least.
Right.
Oh wait
The
a
Great
minute.
War.
Okay, I think it's called Fire Red Omega. That was the one that I did before. I heard about it on TikTok. Funny enough. Oh wait, I put friared. Friared. I can't spell today. Yeah, so Fire Red Omega. I think this is the one that did the thing. Here we go. Pokemon Fire Red Omega are remakes of the Fire Red and Leaf Green games. It released in 2013. These games, like the original, take place in the Kanto region and also includes the Sevi Islands, the legendary mountain which were not in the original game. Though these games are remakes of Gen 3 games, I love how it cuts me off right there. Just cuts me off right there. Hold on. Oh, okay.
That's all you need.
Games. Oh, it cuts off here too. So there are 386 Pokemon available for capture and usage in Pokemon Fire Red. This includes the original 151 from Kanto and Pokemon Red and Blue versions, though it also includes 100 Pokemon added in Pokemon Gold and Silver, and finally includes 135 included in Ruby and Sapphire. And there's a version of this that uses every single Pokemon that ever existed.
Ooh.
So yeah.
I do like me a Zangoose boy.
Also, have you ever heard of the Pokemon Kaizo challenge?
No.
Kaizo?
Oh, yeah.
Kaizo
My friend Jojo Beans does it, except he does it for Fire Red, I think.
So I will say this: Ludicolo, and Ludicolo more and more often, because Ludicolo was pretty much one of the powerhouses in that Emerald Nuzlocke.
Is this different from Ironmon?
I'm not
I think it
sure.
is. Yeah. I understand he's done Ironmon and he's doing Kaizo. So my understanding is that they're separate.
By the way,
But I don't know why.
we were not actually going to do the whole list. I just wanted to like see some of these titles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I'd be here a while.
I'd be interested in doing one someday for sure.
Definitely. I am looking at Pokemon Chronicles, and I'm like, what?
What is that?
Pokemon Chronicles ROM. Let's see. Pokemon Chronicles ROM. Pokemon GS Chronicles ROM. What are you about? Let's see what we got here. You have no description. How am I supposed to know how good you are if you have no description?
It says Pokemon. I'm sold.
That every kid's dream. Just there you go. Oh, okay. That's not what I was asking, but okay, sure. Is Pokemon Liquid Crystal complete? It's a complete Pokemon Crystal remake of the Game Boy Color classic. The story is the same as the original Crystal with a load of extra events and even brand new regions to explore. Okay. What is Pokemon Prism? Because that was another one.
I will say, as much of a Gen 1er I am, I tried playing Gen 1 Rando, and it like absolutely sucked. And then I went to Crystal Rando on Sim Suggestion, and it was absolutely amazing. So I don't really know like what the difference is. I probably fucked up my settings. But that was like a surprising thing to learn about myself.
Like I messed up, and that's it. That's all we did. We messed up, and you know
I just thought I would have loved Gen 1.
But yeah, Pokemon.
It's a hard game to play.
But yeah, Pokemon has been doing the whole hacks thing for years. Because Glazed came out all the way in 2012, and I'm pretty sure there's even more older ones from back then too.
Oh, I mean, like the ghost type, like creepypasta ROM hack. Like I remember reading that in 2009,
which is actually real, by the way. But it's not going to do the things in creepypastas that were given, which were the Pokemon die, your character gets depressed. Right. They ROM'd that whole story.
Which is great.
You want to play Pokemon Creepy Black? I want to play Pokemon Creepy Black. Let's do it.
Yeah.
They had to change it to Creepy Black because Pokemon Black was announced.
Oh, true.
Could you imagine? They were like, oh, Pokemon Black and White came out. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, now I have to change the name of this creepypasta. How are we going to do this? Just add creepy.
That's right. Well, at least they didn't add pasta.
Right? There's also apparently a Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness mod. Ooh.
Oh, that's right. Coliseum and all that. I forgot those games existed.
We all did. It's called Pokemon XG Next Gen. With a shadow loop. This is a weird cover. I actually am curious. I might actually touch it.
Oh, don't touch the butt.
Slap. I'm touching it. But yeah, like, this is an idea for you guys to think about. Like, mods come in many different forms. Pokemon has a lot of them. We talked about a lot of mods, a lot of hacks, a lot of cheats. You know,
I think we did a good job covering the ground.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Because usually I do tier lists of these things, but I'm like, is there really a tier list for hacks and mods? No, funny enough, there's not. And it makes me sad just a little bit.
It's actually surprising.
Come up with one.
I mean, one day.
You gotta play them all.
Gotta play them all. Gotta play all
new
the hacks
definition
mods.
to catch them all.
Exactly.
All right, guys. So, final thoughts in our conversation.
I feel like I had more context for this than I thought that I would. I remembered more things that I had done, and I'm grateful to the communities that have put together things that have been interesting for us to play, and may they never stop making things.
Yeah, I love a lot of fan-made content. I think Nintendo sometimes gets a little corporate with its decision making. Shout out to the Smash Brothers competitive community. My God, those poor bastards. But yeah, I'm excited to continue playing Pokemon Rando. I don't do a lot of it. Skyrim is a fun game to mod, but in general, I just think I really love the content that fans are able to put out. It's absolutely impressive, and it's definitely a direction that I prefer gaming to keep moving in, and sort of does with like the rise of indie games. Just fans taking the games into their own hands. It's absolutely really cool to see, and I definitely am excited. Okay, no, honestly, the thing I'm really excited about is now I have a topic for the Pixel Noise podcast, which we're definitely going to argue about the difference between the definitions of cheats, mods, and hacks. That's going to be like a whole like 7 hours. I'm looking for it. It's going to be great.
Hey, I can actually just dumb it down to its basic critiques. Cheats are in-game codes to exploit when it comes down to it. So cheats usually require a code or some craziness to actually access. Mods are certain beautificational things you can add to a game, and hacks and full-on hacks are complete do-overs of certain games.
Please give me the Merriam-Webster definition of beautification.
Beautification. Okay, that's actually a word.
Well, I know it's a word, but like, how does it apply technically to this context?
Okay,
and like, is it broad enough to not cover things that are also hacks? Like, this is the problem with defining.
Here we go. I got it. The action or process of improving the appearance of a person or place, and this also could include a game. Because you can improve, you can have the process.
Right, that's so broad. That's gonna include cheats, mods, and hacks. Like, we have to go deeper.
Like, I would go into it for the mere fact that hacks are basic overhauls of games. So when you think about it, it's like, let's turn Sonic into a completely new game. It's a Sonic hack because it's hacked from the game Sonic. But now we have Bloody Sonic running around and killing Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman because he fucking feels like it. That's a hack. It's a whole different game, but it came from an original source.
Yeah, that sounds like a hack. I would agree with that.
And then for mods, it's just little add-ins. You're still playing the same game, but you're just doing an add-in. It's kind of like DLC, but you made the DLC to modify the game a little bit.
But you can add cheats to a game too. That's like a sort of a common type of mod.
Cheats, I would like to, well, yeah, that is a common mod. However, when I think of cheats, I think more like the ones that you have to punch in a code for and unlock secret stuff. Or basically, I would think inputs are more of the cheats in a game.
So is arbitrary code execution a cheat because it's just taking place within the game, or does that count as a hack since you're modifying the code?
No, it would actually count as a cheat because you can do it. It's an option and you know about it. As opposed to a hack where you actually have to tear the game apart, literally go into its actual code, tear the game apart, and add the thing in there. When you do it with a cheat, a cheat is more like it's in the game and it's programmed to actually work when you activate a code in the game.
Right. So what if you take apart the code with a cheat?
Then you're hacking.
Yeah, but it's a cheat in the game. You're not even using anything outside.
If it's a cheat in the game, then it's a cheat.
To change the code.
If you change the code by actually going into the game and changing its code, like actually tearing the game open and changing its code, that's considered hacking.
Okay, so arbitrary code execution is hacking.
When you say explain arbitrary code. What you just said.
The any percent world record for Super Mario Brothers Super Mario Brothers 3 is a version of, I think it's called arbitrary code execution, where you do a sequence of events in order to reprogram the game in a way that, like, you're setting up the warp exit at the very end and the shadow pipe that just sends you to the ending scene and beats the game for you. That's a version.
Are you doing it in the game without input?
Yeah.
Are you doing it in? Okay, so that's considered a cheat.
Right. Okay. So it's still considered a cheat, even though you're recoding the game.
You're recoding the game, but it's within the exploits of the game. It kind of goes into exploits once again.
Sure. Yeah. I can agree with that. That makes sense.
But with like I said before, the hacks is you're actually physically gymming your way in the. It's kind of like you're opening the vent and sneaking into the game and sealing its secrets, and then modifying it to your particular style and changing it up.
I love it's honestly it's comforting seeing someone who's actually confident in a definition of something. I haven't had that in years. It's nice. This is good. I like this.
And then, of course, like I said, mods are those little cosmetical things you could just add to a game or do things ridiculous. Like, for example,
Oh boy, let's not get into the difference between mods and hacks. That seems like very dangerous territory.
well, a mod is technically a subset of a hack, except it's not as different.
Debate. The poor bastard.
Listen, I could go into that debate. I will do it.
No, I gotta get going.
Stop.
No worries,
Yeah.
no worries. I'm not messing with you. I'm messing with you guys. But let's send it over to somebody. I'm gonna look in my list of peoples because I haven't streamed in 2 weeks in general. So now everyone's on fresh reset of a raid now. So it's like, okay, everyone's on fresh reset today. Who we sending it to? Who we sending it to? Who we sending it to?
Well, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Hito, thank you so much for having us. This was great.
I had a fun time. This was actually this was really funny. Like just talking about hacks and all the crazy things we could possibly do in a game. Like I like literally talking about all the craziness in a game because most people don't tend to seem like the games are not as limited as they appear to be. You can break a game to its finer points.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always the good thing in those situations, breaking the game down to its finer points and then finding the things to mess around with. Like I love the idea of just messing around with these games, all in all.
Yeah, and I think it's a great place for video games to be now.